In this video, I'm going to go over how to answer the questions in the mixed naming quiz number 1 to make sure everyone knows exactly how to name ionic and covalent compounds. The first thing we have to do is decide whether a compound is ionic or covalent. And so we're looking for a cation and anion. So in particular, we're looking for a metal because metals form cations. So you may have remembered this little periodic table from 8th grade science. If not, these over here are all nonmetals, of course, including hydrogen. And then these are metalloids. Everything else is a metal. So if the compound has one of those everything else things, then it has to be an ionic compound. That's how we're going to do it in this class, at least. So phosphorus is a nonmetal. Nonmetal, this is going to be covalent. So if it's covalent, then we have to use prefixes. So it's tri, phosphorus. The first part, we just write the whole name. Penta, nitride. And that would be the name of that one. The second one, selenium and sulfur, those are both nonmetals, so this has to be covalent. And so again, we're going to use prefixes. Di, selenium, penta, sulfide. Has to end in "ide," just like the ionic compounds do. This one, nickel, is a metal, so this is going to be ionic. Nickel is also a transition metal. Transition metals, you remember, are the D block elements. So right in here, these are our transition metals. Here's nickel. So it's going to form more than one possible cation. So we have to say which nickel this is. Since PO4 has a -3 charge, and we have 2 of those, the nickel, we have 3 of those. Nickel has to have a +2 charge. So when we name it, we have to say nickel, parentheses, 2, because the Roman numeral tells us the charge, and then PO4. If you just go look at the polyatomic ion sheet, you'll see PO4 is phosphate. Okay, this one is kind of tricky. There is no metal, but NH4 plus is a cation. It's on your polyatomic ion sheet. This is the one exception to looking for a metal that I've been talking about. So this is going to be ionic. Ionic, we're just going to name the cation ammonium and the anion sulfide. So ammonium sulfide. This one, vanadium's a metal, so it's going to be ionic. It's a transition metal. It's in group 5. So we're going to have to say what the charge is on vanadium. Oxide is always -2, so this side equals -6. And so if you have 2 of these, this has to be a 3. So this one is vanadium 3 oxide. Okay, this next one, this has to be ionic because silver is a metal. Silver is one of the transition metals that always has the same charge of +1, so we don't need a Roman numeral. And so we just give the name silver. And then CO3, you go look on your polyatomic ion sheet, and that's just carbonate. Silver carbonate. Okay, we're going to write formulas here. So this one, antimony, is a metalloid. It's not a metal, so this is going to be covalent. And we just have one of them. It's atomic number 51. So there's Sb. And then hexachloride, hexa is 6. So we have 6 chlorine atoms attached. The next one, lithium's a metal. So this has to be ionic. Lithium is Li. When I go look on the periodic table, lithium is in group 1. So it's going to lose 1 valence electron and become +1. If I go to polyatomic ion sheet and look up dichromate, dichromate is Cr2O7 -2. So if this is -2 and this is +1, I'm going to need 2 lithiums. So Li2, Cr2, O7, lithium dichromate. The next one, aluminum oxide. Aluminum is a metal, so it has to be ionic. Hydroxide is OH minus. You'll find that on your polyatomic ion sheet. And aluminum is +3. So I'm going to need 3 hydroxides. So aluminum, parentheses, OH, and then a 3. This next one, diboron tetrabromide. Well, this is covalent. We can see the prefixes, and we don't see any metals. So boron, the prefix di means 2. Tetrabromide, tetra means 4. Calcium bicarbonate. Calcium is a metal, so this is ionic. Calcium is in group 2, so that has a +2. Bicarbonate, I go look on my polyatomic ion sheet. I find it is HCO3 minus, so I'm going to need 2 of these for every one of those. So my formula is Ca, then HCO3, and 2. And lastly, zinc chlorate. Zinc is a metal, so this is ionic. So the formula has to be Zn for zinc. Zinc is +2. It's a transition metal that always has a charge of +2. Chlorate is -1. Chlorate is ClO3. So I'm going to need 2 of those. So ClO3, 2. And that is how we would answer all of the questions on the mixed naming quiz number 1.